So in today's class, let's discuss about HTML forms. Okay. Now, what is a form? You must have gone through the registration process on website. Maybe any website I'm talking about. Let it be Amazon, Flipkart. You give your details. You sign in. Okay. So when you sign in, when you sign up, when you register for some course or anywhere, give your feedback. So all these places a user gives inputs to the system. Okay. So till now whatever we have discussed, we were only displaying something so that the user can see. But nowhere the user was able to give any input. So but in case of forms, if a form is designed, the purpose is it should be taking user input and doing some processing, and in return it will be giving some output, maybe some calculated output, maybe a message, maybe acknowledgement, anything. Okay. So if suppose it's written like first name is there, it's a text box, and then last name is there, and then there's a submit button. Okay. Now this is a form. You must have come across these types of forms a lot many times in the website. So here the user will be giving input, here also it will be giving input, it will be clicking on it. So when it is clicking on it, then also the user is giving an input, based on which some processing will be done with these two user inputs. Okay. How to design these kinds of things? So for that we use the form element. Okay. So this defines a form that is used to collect user input. Okay. Now coming to the syntax, we write like form, then here we mention the form elements, then we end the form. Okay. An HTML form consists of form elements. Whatever we write between these, we tell those are the form elements. Okay. Form elements are of different types of input elements, like so these form elements can be your text fields, then it can be your checkboxes, radio buttons, etc. many more. We'll be discussing all these things one by one. How to design them, how to take the input, we will be discussing them. Okay. Now coming to the next element, that is input. Okay. So this one is the most important element. Okay. It is displayed in several ways depending on the type attribute. So it's very important when you are going for designing a form, and it is displayed in several ways based on the type attribute. Okay. Some examples are suppose I am writing input type equal to text. So this defines a single line text. Similarly, if we write input type equal to radio, if you are writing it radio, so it defines a radio button, that is used for selecting one of many choices. If we are writing input type equal to submit, then this defines a submit button which is used for submitting the form. Okay, so we'll be learning about all these things one by one. Now let's first learn about the text fields. Okay, this is defined by writing input type equal to text. So this defines a single line input field for text input. Okay, example, if I am writing form, then within it, if I am writing input type equal to text, id is suppose fname, name is fname, we end it. This is for new line. I am designing another text box. So id I am giving as L name, that is your last name. Name also, suppose I am keeping it same, and I am ending my form. Okay, so the output of this will be, I will be first having a text box, next line another text box. Okay, so this is, here I will be taking one input, here I will be taking one input. Now if I want to write here, suppose here I want to write first name, here I want to write last name. Okay, for that I need to add another one line. So these are your labels. I can write it directly or I can use labels. So let me give an example of label. So for fname, I am adding here first name, ending my label tag. So this is my label. In the next line my text box is designed. Then in the next line I can again put a label. Again in the next line I am having a text box. Okay, so if I want to display this last name, again the same line statement I have to write it here, only the for will be L name. That's the only difference. Okay, so this form will be my output for this much of code. So these two places are where the user will be giving the input. Now the form itself is not visible. Okay, you cannot tell, okay, this one is the form. So the contents of it, that is the form elements, they will be visible. Now I have used an element that is your label. So it is used, this tag defines as it is used to write a label for many form elements. Okay, it is useful for screen reader users because the screen reader will read out the label. Okay, read out loud the label when the user is focused on the input element. Okay, the for attribute of the label tag, we have seen there was a for attribute. So the for attribute of this label tag should be equal to, this should be equal to the id attribute of the input element so as to bind them together. Okay, so in my previous example we have written here, so this is form, so this label I'm writing it for this input type. Okay, so for this input type you can see the id is f name, so this f name is written here so that this label will be bind to this text box. So now coming to radio buttons. So for this we mention it by writing input type equal to radio. Okay, so it lets the user to select one of a limited number of choices. You must have come across, like if you have to choose the gender, you are getting options like male, female, so you have to choose one. Okay, when you are giving online exams, you are having MCQs, options are given A, B, C, D, you have to choose only one. So those cases we go for our radio buttons. Now let me give an example. We'll start with the form. So I want to go for radio button, so input type is radio, id is given as male, name equal to gender, value equal to male. Okay, now suppose I am writing a label for, so id here is male, we will be writing here the same thing. Moving to next line, we are now designing another radio button. Okay, so it will have a id. Okay, id let's labels to be female, name is gender, value is female. Okay, now label for female, amending the label tag. Okay, so now, and here I am ending the form tag. For this much of code, now here my form tag starts and here it ends. So within this I am mentioning the form elements. Okay, so this is one element, this is one element, this is one element, this is one element. So 4 elements I have mentioned within the form tag. So my output here will be something like this, and I have to choose any one of these things. Okay, now discussing about the submit button. So for this, to design a submit button, we write it like this: input type equal to submit. Okay, this defines a button. So why we use this button? For submitting the form data to a form handler. Okay, so what is form handler? It is typically a page on the server with a script for processing these input data. Okay, so the form handler is specified in the form's action attribute. Form's action attribute. Okay, here we mention the form handler. Okay, so it is basically another scripting page where the processing of the input data is done. Now let's go for an example. Suppose I'm starting with form, so I want to take the inputs, and when I'm clicking the submit button, the data has to be passed to a form handler. Okay, the form handler, here we have mentioned that action attribute is there's a form action. We can write the page. Suppose this is action dot php. Okay, so we go for label. For suppose I'm mentioning f name, so the label is, the visible portion is form name, sorry, first name. Going to the next line. So here I am designing only one text box. Okay, how to design another text box we have already seen the example, but let me just take, for explaining this example for submit button, I am taking only one input text. Okay, so here we will be mentioning type equal to text. We are taking only one text box. Then id is f name, name also we are supposed to do the same thing. Value equal to, suppose John I am writing here. I will be explaining this, why I have written this John. Okay, now let me design my submit button. I will design submit button by writing input type equal to submit, value equal to submit, and I am now ending my form. Okay, first let me write down the output, how it will look. So first name, here it will display John, and then it will be displaying the button, that is my submit button. Okay, so this is a label which I have designed within this line. Now this text box, this is the text box which has been designed. Now this we have written John. Okay, so this is the default value which is displayed in the text box. Okay, so if you are not mentioning here anything, value equal to John we have written, so this John is being displayed here. So default value is being set here, which will be displayed. Okay, then submit button, this is the statement, and this is my submit button. Now we have an action attribute here. So let's discuss about that. What's the action attribute and some details about it. It defines the action to be performed when the form is submitted. Okay, so usually what happens, the form data is sent to a page on the server when the user clicks on the submit button. Okay, as in the above example, we have written that form action equal to your action dot php. This is the finding we have written. Okay, if the action attribute is omitted, if this we are not writing, then do you think no action is taken? No, action is taken, but the action is set to the current page itself. Okay, Now in the current page, if you have not mentioned the code for the data processing and all, so nothing will be done. Okay, so if this is not mentioned, the action is set to the current page. Okay, now coming to the target attribute, we have also learned about a target attribute when we are going through frames. Okay, so the target attribute, it specifies if the submitted result will open in a new browser tab, a frame, or in the current window. So basically it specifies where to show the result. Okay, so it can be in a new browser tab, a new frame, or in the current window. Okay, to make the form result open in the new browser tab, the value which is used is blank. Okay, so what will be the full statement? We will be writing it like form action equal to, we have our action.php page is there, so the output will be displayed in a new browser tab. Okay, so instead of this, I can also use underscore parent underscore top, okay, or name of a frame. Okay, now coming to the method attribute. So the method attribute, it specifies the HTTP method, that is your get or post. Okay, so this is used when submitting the form data. So how do we write it? So if we use the get method, well, while submitting the form, we write it like form action.php method we write as get. Okay, similarly for post, so this is for your get method. For post method, we write it as form action is your, again the PHP file name. You can mention any PHP file name, whatever you have created, and post. Okay, now you must be thinking that both the things are same. No, both are not same. When to use get and when to use post. Now when to use get, when should be I should be using it? Okay, the default HTTP method when submitting the form data is get. So this is the default HTTP method. However, when get is used, then the form data is visible in the page address field. Okay, you must have seen like it's written action suppose dot php question mark first name equal to John. You must have seen these types of statements in your address bar. So whenever you see like this, you understand that get method has been used. Okay. So get method, it appends the form data into the URL. Okay. The length of the URL is limited. Never use get to send sensitive data. Okay. And it is always better to use this method get for non-secure data like query strings in Google. There you can use. Okay. This is useful for form submissions where a user wants to bookmark the result. So this one is get is better for non-secure data. Okay. Never use it for sensitive data. Then length of a URL is limited. Okay. So this is basically your 2048 characters. Okay. Now when to use post? Post is also a method. When to use that? So always use post if the form data contains sensitive or personal information. So used when form contains sensitive or personal information. Okay. Why? Because it does not display the form data in the address field. So you won't be able to know what data is being passed. Also it has no size limitations and can be used to send. So thus it can be used to send large amounts of data. Okay. And form submissions with post method, they can't be bookmarked, but in case of get method you can bookmark it. Okay. Now coming to the next attribute of form, that is your name attribute. Each input field must have a name attribute. Even the form should have. Each input field must have a name attribute. Okay. If the name attribute is omitted, then the data of that input field will not be sent at all. So that is why this is very important. Okay. For example, I have already written example. Let me give a specific example here. We are starting a form. I will write input type equal to text. ID equal to fname. Name equal to suppose name. So name attribute should be there for each of the input fields. Okay, if you are not mentioning that, then the particular field data will not be submitted. Okay, so this much for today's class. Next class we will be discussing some more form elements in details. Thank you.